Hey everyone. In this video I want to talk about why it's okay to ghost toxic people. I'm making this video because I've actually met a decent amount of people who are a bit too nice, both in person and over the internet, people who believe that you shouldn't ghost anyone. And I completely disagree with that because, well, one, life is incredibly nuanced. There's no black and white, like things are incredibly gray, and you can't often say that you should never do something or you should always do something or things always work out this one way, because those statements are often not true. And when people say you should never ghost anyone, I just don't believe that that is a healthy thing to do 100% of the time. And that's pretty much what I want to delve into this video. Why it's okay for you to ghost toxic people. Now, you do not want to fall into that trap of being overly nice where you feel like everybody deserves to receive closure and so on and so forth, because there are just going to be some times where sticking around a bit longer than you should is not a wise thing to do. And there are even situations where you can literally be putting yourself in harm's way by doing so. And these are the situations where I would 100% say it is very much okay to ghost someone. You don't need to give everyone closure. But here, okay, let me pause real quick to talk about something super important. I do not believe it is right for you to ever ghost someone who is actually good. Somebody who has treated you well, somebody who is kind, somebody who is actually a good partner for you or other people out there. Do not ghost those people. That is messed up. They deserve closure because they're actually good people. So, obviously, I'm not saying in this video that it is okay to ghost people like that. Do not ghost good people. It's messed up. You wouldn't want that to happen to you, so don't do it to them. But toxic people, on the other hand, it is very much okay to ghost toxic people. So toxic people would be people like narcissists, people who abuse you, maybe even physically, but also mentally is an important aspect. People who treat you like utter crap, like you don't even matter to them, yet for whatever reason, they're in a relationship with you and they chose you, but they don't really make it apparent that they love you. People who just, in a word, mistreat you. And I should add in here, consistently. They consistently mistreat you. I'm not talking about having a good partner for you who occasionally has a bad day at work and isn't able to control their emotions when they get home, and maybe they have one fight with you, but it happens very rarely. I'm not talking about those situations because I know it's very easy for us in today's world to act like our partners need to be perfect 100% of the time. That's just not realistic. Even good partners will occasionally have days where they're just not in a good mood and they may get into arguments with you. But that does not make them toxic. So I'm talking about people who consistently engage in these kinds of bad behaviors, who consistently mistreat you. In those cases, I would say it is okay to ghost someone who is toxic. Because let me just run over a list of potential things that toxic people could end up doing. One, they can be incredibly manipulative. They could try to destroy your life after you attempt to break up with them and so on. Because, I mean, we've all encountered people who are incredibly narcissistic and they are insanely good manipulators. They could ruin your reputation after you leave them by spreading lies about you. For the women out there, well, yeah, for the women out there, if they have a boyfriend who is a bit narcissistic, he could spread a bunch of lies about you sleeping around, which could ruin your reputation with your parents and your other friends and stuff like that. It's not good. They could hurt you in that way. But also, there is another problem with toxic people that for some reason people don't really mention often, which is they can be physically dangerous. These are people who could physically abuse you. They can become violent if you break up with them in person. I've heard stories of that happening. I've heard stories of people pulling out knives, pulling out guns on people. It's not good. I know it's rare, but it can happen. So you need to be a good read of people, a good judge of people, and hopefully you wouldn't end up in a relationship with somebody like this from the beginning. I mean, I would hope so, but you never know. People can, especially narcissists, can be really good at hiding their true colors from the beginning when you're first getting to know them. So they are often good at manipulating others into falling for their trap. So if you ever doubt someone's ability to handle your breakup in a healthy way, and you ever are even just slightly afraid that they may become physically violent, then you should probably just ghost them. That's a situation you don't want to put yourself in. Do not put yourself in harm's way just to be a good person. Because if it's not worth ending up in the hospital over, or God forbid, even worse. There are just times where being a good person can shoot you in the foot. I mean, we all know what I'm talking about here, right? I hope so. Because these are important situations and you just need to be careful. You need to take care of yourself. There will be situations where it's okay to do something or to act in a way that you would say normally only bad people act in. Like I said in the beginning of this video, life is very much nuanced. You are not a bad person for ghosting a toxic person. It does not make you bad. In fact, that makes me want to bring up something that was part of the reason why I wanted to make this video, which was I realized that a lot of the people who say that you should never ghost anyone and that ghosting anyone in general is a bad thing, even toxic people, the people who say that are usually saying that because they're coming from a place of cognitive dissonance. I realize this because quite often they believe that anyone who ghosts someone else is a bad person. So since they believe all ghosters are bad, they don't want to engage in the act of ghosting someone because that would make them, by their own belief, their own definition, a bad person. And they don't want to be a bad person. So the fact that they label all ghosters as bad is shooting them in the foot in this situation, because now they're going to not ghost someone who is toxic when there are situations where that is probably the right thing to do. So I just wanted to touch on that because once I realized that, I was like, that explains it. Because I was literally one time I was dealing with someone who was saying this, that ghosting is just bad and that you should never do, and that in all cases, even with toxic people. And I was just trying to wrap my head around how anyone could believe that, because there are just times where that falls flat. That's like saying that every bad person has a little spark of good in them. I just don't believe that to be true. I know that that's like a thing that's romanticized, especially in like superhero movies where the heroes who never kill anyone, like Daredevil or Spider-Man or whatever, they don't kill bad guys because they believe there's maybe a glimmer of hope in them. I just don't believe that, because there are men out there like Hitler and Stalin and Mao Zedong and Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il. There are bad people out there. I don't believe those people have any good in them. In fact, I believe in some cases there's literally something wrong in their brain, and that's why they don't have any glimmer of good in them. So just be careful out there. You have to remember, life is just, it's a very nuanced landscape. There's just, it sucks that some of our ideals often can fall flat in this way, but you are not a bad person if you ghost toxic people. So don't start believing that stupid crap that anyone who ghosts other people is bad. No, they're only bad if they ghost good people, people who aren't deserving of it, people who treat others with kindness and are upright people. They don't deserve to be ghosted. So people who ghost them, yeah, they're shitty people. But everybody else, people who ghost toxic people or people who are just bad, those people are not bad for doing that. In fact, they're protecting their physical and mental health, and in that way, I'd say it's perfectly okay for them to ghost someone who's toxic. Anyway, this has been a rather passionate video from me, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully I didn't scare you away, especially because there were some non-PC things in there, but I don't care. I'm going to speak what I believe to be true, even if it hurts people who believe that everybody has a glimmer of hope in them and other stuff like that, but whatever. If you like this video, then feel free to like it, comment, share. It's the easiest way to support me. And if you really like my videos, feel free to subscribe and follow to get more of them, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!